Hello, thank you so much. I started my career as a tax consultant in Cyprus. Back in the day, Cyprus just joined the EU, and it had a great opportunity to put the little country on the map. A lot of forex brokerages went there to take advantage of the tax benefits of this little island. It was a longer time ago that I would like to admit, but it showed me how different countries are still working with the same setups. A couple of years later, my clients started to tell me, I understand, Viktoria, that we incorporate companies and we legally move funds, and the tax disappears, but what's happening with the banks? Why I cannot find a bank which wants to work with me? How comes that certain transactions are blocked, and sometimes I need to declare a lot of information to my bank and financial service provider just to get a transfer done? And I started to look for answers. And it looked like no one had any answers. Everybody had the same problem with the banking compliance, but no one really understood what is happening. So a couple of years later, when I was doing my accounting days over and started my payment and banking consultancy company, an old client called me. His name is George. And he told me, Viktoria, I know that you're into this blockchain and cryptocurrency. I say, yes. Imagine what happened. I bought a cryptocurrency for 500 euros, and I got lucky. And the price went up. And the cryptocurrency worth 550 euros, so I thought I'd count my lucky stars and cash out my winning. Little he knew, as soon as the money hit his traditional high street bank, the bank freaked out. He was acclaimed as a trader, a crypto trader, put him on a higher risk category. His mortgage payment went up. His loan payments went up. He was declared as a high-risk individual. And unlucky for George, he was also a board member on various different companies. So all these companies were under a higher risk category, therefore. So all these companies paid significantly higher bank fees, unfortunately, just because George was deemed as a higher risk person. This just gets to show that how important is payment planning. And if you don't know, and if you don't even occur to ask those questions, it's very easy to make a mistake. So I decided that it's time that we put things in order. Unfortunately, the industry is still heavily relying on so-called payment brokers, and I'm sure that you are seeing a couple of them out there as well. Do you need a bank account? Do you need a payment service provider? I know someone who knows someone. Don't you worry, mate. I get this sorted out. The problem with that accountants are still the ones in payment departments who are making the decisions. And I'm an accountant. We were never trained on open banking. We were never trained on SEPA, SWIFT transfers. We were never trained on integration and customer service. And you tell me, if your accountant is making decisions on customer service and user experience, I think you're in trouble. So these accountants need to rely on an external so-called payment broker who is advising them, seemingly masking as a payment expert what's best for them. But don't forget, these payment brokers, these so-called payment experts, are working for commission. So they are going to steer the conversation in a way that it is going to coming out of your pocket to cover their commission. They will recommend you the solution which is giving them the most amount of commission. And this is a massive conflict of interest. So who to trust? Unfortunately, there is no overall payment and banking qualification out there. If you want to hire a head of payment, you need to go through the CV, seeing where this person used to work at, what did he do, does he even understand what is a chargeback, and it's a very, very risky procedure. Or you're hiring someone and then you're working with a payment broker. Did you actually know that the industry standard is to share the profit 50% with the broker for the lifetime until you're using that solution? And if the payment provider is not paying that half of their profit to the payment broker is going to start bad-mouthing that payment provider or bank just to take the client out and place it somewhere else where they get the commission. Now you tell me, how does it affect you? What is the risk for you to be able to find the best and safest and the most cost-effective solution for yourself? Where can you find those answers? So that is when we started PSP Angels, which is a consultancy where we advise clients, being on their side, how to set up an overall payment plan. We developed a payment framework, which is a very easy to apply 8-step payment framework applicable to any company, where you really understand where the money comes from, how much, how often, what currency, who are your providers who are dealing with that, how safe are these providers, what's happening with treasury, exchange, what are the timelines, like how quickly you're going to get your settlement, to see everything from a bird's eye perspective, to really understand how important payment and banking. And today we argue that payments and banking cannot be considered as a finance function. It is no longer just a finance function because it affects every part of your operation. It affects your customer experience. It affects your product, your development, your development roadmap, the compliance, the data security, the compliance, everything. So if you are still trusting your finance department to make all of those decisions, it's very easy to oversee something and make a decision whereby you don't even know what is the risk that you are taking. And us here in this industry, we know that payment is everything because payment drives 80% of what we do, right? We know it's going to be a problem because we are high risk. But did you know that, for example, the biggest department stores in the UK, they are still considering payment as a supplier, and it's under the purchase department's responsibility. They don't see this as an overall strategical function in the company. They don't take advantage of the different aspects, how a payment system can help you scale up, what are the different risks that it's posing on you. And I have seen so many times when my clients are keeping millions and millions on one account that they opened 20 years ago, thinking that this is still the best for them. Your company is changing, your volumes are changing, the regulation around your activities are changing, the market is changing, but the payment provider and the banks are also changing. And there is a fintech for a reason. There is a financial element, but also a tech element, which is technology. There are new solutions coming out which could be safer, cheaper, more easy to use in your payment mix. So go out and ask those questions. And when I realized that there is no qualification right now who is actually helping those poor little accountants like I was, managing all those reconciliations around payments and making all of those hard decisions over banking and international money transfers, that's when I decided that we need to start an institute, an education, which is giving a holistic approach to payments and banking. It explains everything, why we have compliance, what is compliance, what are the different technological aspects of fintech, how does it affect you, what is the risk of keeping millions and millions of money in a high-risk friendly accounts in a country you never even heard of, and how to create backup plans. What is happening if one day you wake up and you can't log into your payment account anymore? How does it affect your business? And do you have a backup plan for that? And if not, why? So I also wrote a book, which came out in Amazon earlier, which is Moving Money, How Banks Think. So I would like to encourage everyone to go online and get the book. This really consists all the knowledge and experience and wisdom that I personally gathered through the years. But I am alone. I'm not enough. We need to work together to put payments and banking to its deserved pace. And in this high-risk industry, you know exactly how hard this payment and banking on its own, because you are experiencing it on a daily. But I need help from everyone to start talking about it, to start educating yourself. Don't rely on those payment brokers who are working for commission. Make your own decisions. Educate your own finance team and put payments and banking out of finance and put it where it belongs, to the overall strategy where management can really understand risk, technological difficulties, compliance, data security, and many more. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, any questions? No questions. That means that I was really straightforward. So thank you so much, everyone.